Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be jumping into the world of artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
a field that is seriously exploding right now and is changing like everything around us.
It really is.
We asked you guys to send in some research on this, and
Yeah.
you did not disappoint.
No,
We got some fascinating stuff.
for sure.
We've got excerpts from a paper called Principles Governing Ethical Development and Deployment of AI
Okay.
that was published in the International Journal of Engineering, Business, and Management.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
I know, right?
Ah.
We've also got a white paper.
Okay.
It's called Artificial Intelligence, Navigating the Present, Addressing Challenges, and Anticipating the Future.
Sounds pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it really does cover a lot of ground. And then lastly,
Okay.
we've got a research paper from the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Applications and Innovations
Interesting.
called Ethical Considerations in AI Development, Balancing Autonomy and Accountability.
Lots to unpack there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting stuff there. And our mission today is to really uncover
Okay.
the key ethical concerns surrounding AI and explore how different countries are dealing with regulation in this space.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And to kind of kick things off on a fascinating note,
Okay.
one of the papers suggests that AI could boost global productivity by like a whopping 14%.
Seriously.
Yeah, like imagine what you could do with 14% more time in your day.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? And this potential is what people are calling the fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
And we are like right in the thick of it.
So let's map out the AI landscape a little bit here.
Sure.
It's already intertwined with our lives in ways we might not even realize, right?
Absolutely. I mean, think about those eerily accurate recommendations you get on Spotify or Netflix,
Yeah.
or how doctors use AI to, analyze medical images these days.
Right.
We're interacting with AI constantly sometimes without even realizing it.
Yeah, it's like AI is working behind the scenes, orchestrating so much of our digital lives.
For sure.
But here's where things get interesting, right?
Okay.
All this convenience, all this innovation
Yeah.
comes with some serious ethical baggage.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the International Journal paper
Yeah.
outlines like 5 major areas of concern.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Okay, so we've got transparency, privacy, accountability,
Right.
the overall impact on society.
Yeah.
And one that I find particularly intriguing is this concept of the black box problem.
Ah, yes, the black box. The idea that even the developers of these super complex AI algorithms
Yeah.
don't always understand how the AI reaches its conclusions.
So it's making decisions. And sometimes these are life-altering decisions.
You're right.
But we don't know why.
It's a bit unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see why that's a problem, especially in fields like healthcare.
Exactly. Imagine, not knowing why an AI is recommending a specific surgery or treatment.
Right.
That's a real dilemma that doctors are facing. And this is why the need for explainable AI is being emphasized by both the International Journal paper and the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Applications and Innovations.
Okay.
It's really important that we understand the why behind these decisions.
Yeah, especially when the stakes are so high.
Absolutely.
So how do we make something that complex explain itself?
Well, there are some new techniques being developed that kind of offer a peek into the black box.
Okay.
One is called LIME, and it essentially highlights the key factors that influence the AI's decision.
So like it's shining a light on the most important parts of the AI's thought process.
That's a good way to think about it. And then there's another one called SHA.
Okay.
And SHP goes a step further and tries to quantify the influence of each factor.
So it's like assigning weights to the ingredients in a recipe so we can see which ones had the biggest impact on the final taste.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The more we can understand these complex systems,
Right.
the more trust we can build, I think.
Absolutely.
But what about privacy? AI thrives on data, and a lot of that data is personal.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a trade-off,
It's true.
like convenience and innovation in exchange for our privacy.
You've hit on a key tension point there. The International Journal paper talks about this balancing act
Yeah.
between using data to make AI really powerful
Right.
and safeguarding our privacy. It's a tough challenge.
Yeah.
But there are some promising solutions emerging.
Okay. Give me some hope here. What are they?
Well, one technique is called differential privacy,
Okay.
and it basically adds a bit of noise to the data to make it harder to identify individuals
Okay.
while still allowing for analysis.
So like blurring faces in a photo,
Yeah,
but you can still see the overall scene.
exactly.
Clever. What else?
Another approach is something called federated learning.
Okay.
And this is where the AI model is trained on decentralized data.
Okay.
So the raw personal information never has to be shared in a central location.
So it's like sending the AI to the data
Oh.
instead of bringing the data to the AI.
Exactly like having mini AIs learning from data on different devices and then sharing their insights without revealing the underlying personal information.
Okay, that sounds pretty promising.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing these horror stories about AI systems showing bias against certain groups.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, remember, AI algorithms are trained on massive amounts of data.
Right.
And if that data reflects existing biases in our society, the AI system can unfortunately learn and perpetuate those biases.
Yeah, it really highlights that AI is only as good as the data it learns from.
Exactly.
If we feed it biased data, we get biased outcomes.
Exactly. And for example, the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Applications and Innovations cites a case where
Yeah.
a surgical AI system was designed to assess surgeons' skill levels, but showed bias based on the hospital where the surgeons worked.
So it was judging surgeons not on their actual skills, but on their workplace.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
That's pretty messed up. How do we fix that?
Well, diverse and representative data sets are essential. We need AI systems trained on data that reflects the richness and complexity of our world,
Right.
not just a narrow slice of it.
So we need to build more inclusive AI, so to speak.
Exactly.
But here's a question that's been bugging me. If an AI system makes a mistake, who's to blame?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Is it the AI itself? The developers?
Well, the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Applications and Innovations really digs into this.
Oh, yeah.
We're still in those early stages of figuring out the legal frameworks for AI accountability.
It feels like a legal gray area where our traditional concepts of responsibility
Right.
are just struggling to keep up with this rapidly evolving technology.
Absolutely. And it's especially tricky with those autonomous systems.
Yeah, like self-driving cars.
Exactly. If there's an accident, who's liable?
Right. Is it the manufacturer, the programmer, the person in the driver's seat?
Exactly.
These are tough questions.
They are.
And we need robust accountability mechanisms
We do.
to ensure that AI is used responsibly and that those who are affected by its decisions have recourse.
100%.
Okay, so we've got accountability, we've got transparency, we've got privacy.
Sure.
What about the broader societal impact of AI?
Well,
I mean, we've touched on job displacement,
yeah.
but there's so much more to consider, right?
Absolutely.
Like, what about things like economic inequality
Yeah.
and the concentration of power in the hands of just a few tech giants?
Those are all valid concerns that we can't ignore.
Right.
The International Journal paper highlights the potential for AI to exacerbate existing inequalities.
Yeah.
And if the benefits of AI are concentrated among a select few, it could lead to social unrest and instability.
So we need to figure out how to ensure that the benefits of AI are distributed more fairly,
Absolutely.
that it lifts all boats, not just the yachts.
I love that.
Okay, so before we get into how different countries are approaching AI regulation,
Right.
I want to touch on something from the artificial intelligence. Navigating the present white paper.
Okay.
It mentions that AI isn't just one thing.
Yeah.
It's like a collection of different technologies,
Right.
each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
It's true. It's kind of like a toolbox filled with specialized instruments.
Right.
You wouldn't use a hammer to tighten a screw.
No, you wouldn't.
Similarly, we need to choose the right AI tool for the job.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Exactly. For example, machine learning is great for analyzing data and making predictions,
Okay.
but natural language processing is better for understanding and generating human language.
It's fascinating how each of these tools is pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
Yeah,
but also raising these new ethical questions.
for sure.
Okay, so now let's see how different countries are trying to wrangle this AI beast.
All right, this is where things get interesting from a global perspective.
Yep.
All three of our sources offer a fascinating snapshot of how different countries are approaching AI regulation,
Okay.
from the EU's proactive stance to the US's more hands-off approach.
So let's start with the EU. They seem to be taking a better be safe than sorry approach.
Yeah, they're definitely at the forefront of AI regulation.
Okay.
Their proposed AI Act, which could be adopted any day now,
Right.
takes a risk-based approach.
Okay.
It categorizes AI systems based on their potential impact.
So the higher the risk, the stricter the regulations?
That's the general idea, and they're also pushing for explainability
Oh.
in high-risk AI systems,
Right.
which aligns with what we discussed earlier about the importance of transparency and trust.
Right. So it seems like they're really trying to get ahead of the curve and set a global standard for AI governance.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to be leaders in this space.
What about the US? They're usually pretty gung-ho about new technology.
Well, their approach has been much more decentralized,
Okay.
relying on existing laws and federal agencies like the Federal Trade Commission
Yeah.
to address AI-related issues.
Okay.
They're emphasizing fairness and transparency,
Right.
but they haven't yet implemented a comprehensive federal AI law.
So they're taking more of a wait-and-see approach,
It seems that way.
but with a keen eye on potential problems.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. They're trying to strike a balance between fostering innovation and protecting consumers.
Okay, so we have the EU being super proactive,
Right.
the US being more cautious.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the world?
Well, Canada is kind of forging its own path with its proposed Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, or 8I,
Okay.
and they're really focused on transparency.
Okay.
They're requiring companies to be upfront about how they're using AI, especially in those high-impact areas.
So no sneaking AI in under the radar.
Not if they can help it. They also want to make sure that AI benefits all Canadians,
Okay.
not just a select few.
It sounds like they're putting a lot of emphasis on inclusivity and ethical consideration.
They are.
What about China? They're investing heavily in AI.
Yeah, China's an interesting case.
Okay.
They've released ethical principles for AI development,
Okay.
but there are concerns about how these principles will be enforced in practice,
Right, yeah.
especially given their approach to data privacy.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag, aspirations toward ethical AI, but potential conflicts regarding privacy.
That's a pretty fair summary.
They're walking a tightrope between technological advancement and social control.
It seems that way.
It seems like every country is grappling with these same fundamental questions.
Yeah.
Like how to balance innovation with safety, how to foster trust in AI,
Right.
and how to ensure that AI is used for good, not for harm.
Those are the big questions.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fascinating landscape, isn't it? Each country trying to chart its own course through this uncharted territory.
It is, but even with the best of intentions, even with regulations in place,
Yeah,
there are still potential risks and unintended consequences that we need to consider.
that's true.
And that's what I find so intriguing, but also a bit unsettling about AI. It's like we're opening this Pandora's box of possibilities,
Right.
but we don't know what might fly out.
It's a great analogy. One of the key challenges with AI is the inherent complexity of these systems. Even with the best intentions, developers can't always predict how these systems will interact with the real world.
Right.
And that can lead to those unexpected outcomes.
So like those sci-fi movies where a seemingly harmless experiment goes terribly wrong.
Precisely. Let's think about that surgical AI system we talked about earlier.
Ah.
The one that showed bias based on hospital affiliation.
Right.
Imagine if that system had been deployed without thorough testing.
Yeah.
It could have had a devastating impact on surgeons' careers and patient safety.
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
It really highlights the need for rigorous testing and validation
Absolutely.
before we unleash these AI systems into the wild.
We need to make sure these systems are reliable, robust, and align with our values.
Yeah.
And then there's the potential for malicious use.
Right.
I mean, we've already seen how deepfakes can be used to spread misinformation
Oh, yeah. Deepfakes are crazy.
and create chaos.
A little bit scary, too, right?
Yeah, and as AI gets more powerful, the potential for misuse grows exponentially.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
So it's not just about preventing AI from making mistakes.
Right.
It's also about preventing it from being intentionally weaponized.
Exactly. And that's where AI ethics comes into play.
Okay.
You know, it's not just about building safeguards into the technology itself.
Right.
It's also about fostering a culture of responsible AI development and use.
So it's about shaping the human side of the equation, making sure we're using this powerful technology ethically and for the benefit of humanity.
You got it. We need to think deeply about the values that we're embedding in these systems
Right.
and ensure that they align with our aspirations for a just and equitable society.
The artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
navigating the present white paper, highlights some additional challenges we need to address.
Okay.
One that jumps out at me is this issue of scalability and generalization.
Oh, yeah, those are big ones.
Can you break those down for me? What do they even mean in the context of AI?
Well, many AI systems today are designed for very specific tasks and contexts. For example, think of a facial recognition system trained to identify individuals in a controlled environment.
Okay, like an office building.
Exactly. Now try using that same system on a crowded street with varying lighting conditions
Right.
and people moving in different directions.
Yeah.
The performance is likely to drop significantly.
So it's like taking a fish out of water.
Exactly.
It can't quite adapt to the new environment.
Yeah, a perfect analogy. And scaling AI systems to handle more complex problems or different environments presents significant challenges.
Okay.
And this ties into generalization, which is the ability of an AI system to apply what it has learned in one context to a new, unfamiliar situation.
So for AI to truly reach its potential, it needs to be more adaptable.
Yeah.
Like a master chef who can whip up a delicious meal with whatever ingredients are on hand.
I like that analogy. We need AI systems that can not only learn from data,
Yeah,
but also reason, adapt, and generalize their knowledge to new situations.
makes sense. Another concern raised in the white paper is security and privacy.
Okay.
We talked about data privacy, but what about the security risks?
Mm.
Yeah. How vulnerable are these AI systems to cyber attacks?
Well, as AI becomes more integrated into our critical infrastructure,
Hmm.
power grids, financial systems, even healthcare,
Yeah.
the security risks become increasingly significant.
Okay.
Just imagine a hacker gaining control of an autonomous vehicle
Oh.
or manipulating an AI-powered medical diagnosis system.
Yeah.
The consequences could be catastrophic.
Okay, now we're getting into like digital horror movie territory.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
How do we even begin to protect these systems from malicious actors?
Well, robust cybersecurity measures are paramount.
Right.
Encryption access controls regular security audits, but it's not just about building walls.
Right.
We also need AI systems that are resilient,
Okay.
capable of detecting and defending against intrusions.
So a good defense and a good offense.
Exactly. And we also need to remember that AI itself can be used as a weapon.
Right.
AI-powered malware that can learn and evolve AI systems designed to launch sophisticated phishing attacks.
So it's a constant arms race.
It's a complex landscape, and staying ahead of the bad guys requires constant vigilance.
Yeah. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the human element in all of this.
All right.
The Journal of Artificial Intelligence Applications and Innovations really delves into some intriguing questions about autonomy and accountability.
Yeah.
It's like we're entering this new era where we're sharing decision-making power with machines.
It's true. It's a profound shift as AI systems become more sophisticated. They're increasingly capable of making decisions
Yeah.
that were once the exclusive domain of humans.
Like self-driving cars navigating busy streets.
Exactly.
Or AI systems recommending treatment options to doctors.
It's mind-blowing, but also a little unnerving, isn't it?
It is. How do we maintain control in this, like, brave new world of AI autonomy?
Well, one approach is what's known as human-in-the-loop systems.
Right.
These involve human operators who can intervene and override AI decisions when necessary,
Right.
especially in those high-stakes situations.
So like having a co-pilot in an airplane ready to take over if the autopilot malfunctions.
A great analogy.
Okay, so it's about finding the right balance between AI autonomy and human oversight,
Right.
making sure we don't completely relinquish control.
Absolutely. You nailed it. It's about defining clear boundaries and establishing mechanisms for human intervention,
Okay.
especially when ethical considerations are involved.
So we need to design AI systems that are aligned with human values,
Yes,
not just optimized for like efficiency or profit.
you got it.
So building AI that complements human intelligence
Yeah,
rather than trying to replace it.
precisely. We need AI that's not only intelligent,
Yeah.
but also ethical, accountable, and aligned with our shared values.
Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room, job displacement.
Okay.
Every time AI comes up, people worry about robots taking over their jobs.
It's a valid concern.
Is the fear justified or is it just hype?
Well, it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah.
It's true that AI-driven automation will impact the job market, especially in industries that are reliant on manual labor or repetitive tasks.
So certain jobs are definitely more vulnerable than others.
Absolutely. Jobs involving data entry assembly line work, even some customer service roles, are already being automated.
And it's not just blue-collar jobs that are at risk.
Right. AI is increasingly capable of performing tasks that require specialized knowledge and expertise,
Okay.
potentially impacting fields like radiology, financial analysis, even legal research.
So no one is immune to the potential disruption of AI.
That's the reality we need to face.
Yeah.
The question isn't if AI will disrupt the job market.
Right.
It's how we prepare for those changes.
Okay, so what can we do? Do we try to resist this tide of automation, or is there a way to navigate these changes constructively?
Well, resisting technological progress is rarely a winning strategy.
True.
Instead, we need to focus on adaptation and resilience.
Oh.
This means investing in education and training programs to equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-driven world.
So equipping people to work alongside AI, rather than trying to compete with it.
That's the idea.
But what about those who are displaced? What happens to them?
Well, we need to explore new economic models, like universal basic income,
Okay.
to address the potential for widespread job displacement. And we need to have an open and honest conversation about the future of work.
Yeah.
What kind of society do we want to create? What values do we want to prioritize?
It's like we're at this crossroads where we have the opportunity to shape the future of work
I love that analogy.
rather than letting
Yep.
technology dictate our destiny.
We have agency in this. We can choose to use AI as a tool for human flourishing,
Right.
or we can let it exacerbate existing inequalities. The choice is ours.
I like the sound of using AI for good.
Me too.
But back to those concerns about bias.
Right.
Can we really teach AI to be ethical?
That's a fascinating challenge at the forefront of AI research.
Okay.
While we can't simply program ethics into machines as if it were a set of rules,
Right.
we can design systems that are sensitive to ethical considerations.
So it's not about creating robots with morals.
Right.
It's about building systems that are aligned with our ethical principles.
Exactly.
But how do we do that?
Well, one approach is to incorporate fairness metrics into the design of algorithms,
Okay.
ensuring that AI systems don't perpetuate those biases.
Right.
Another is to design systems that are transparent and explainable,
Okay.
allowing us to understand how they reach their decisions.
So building AI systems that are not only intelligent, but also accountable and transparent.
Exactly.
That sounds like a massive undertaking.
It is. It's an ongoing process that requires collaboration between AI researchers, ethicists, policymakers, and society as a whole.
So all hands on deck.
Yes.
Okay, now let's talk about something that's both exciting and terrifying. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI.
Stuff of science fiction.
Right, this is machines that can think for themselves and solve complex problems just like humans.
It's one of the most intriguing and potentially disruptive frontiers in AI research. This idea of machines that can truly think and reason at a human level or even surpass human intelligence
Right.
raises all sorts of questions.
It's exhilarating, but also a bit scary.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what happens if we create machines that are smarter than us?
Right.
Are we talking about a potential robot uprising?
I don't think it's helpful to frame it in those terms.
Yeah.
AGI is a complex issue
Yeah,
with profound ethical and societal implications.
right.
It's not something that we should necessarily fear, but it's definitely something we need to approach with caution
Yeah.
and a sense of responsibility.
So proceed with caution, but keep an open mind.
I think that's a good approach.
But what happens if we create something we can't control?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that's driving a lot of the research in AI safety.
Okay.
One approach is to focus on value alignment,
Okay.
which essentially means trying to imbue AGI systems with a set of values that are compatible with our own.
So like trying to teach these machines right from wrong?
Yeah, in a way, but it's much more complicated than that. Right. It involves not only understanding human values,
Yeah.
but also developing mechanisms for machines to learn and adapt to those values.
Right. And then make sure that those values remain stable and consistent as the AI evolves.
That's the tricky
It
part.
sounds like we're talking about shaping the very nature of intelligence itself.
It is.
It's both awesome
That's it.
and terrifying.
It is, but it's a challenge we need to embrace.
Yeah.
The future of humanity may very well depend on our ability to create AI systems that are not only intelligent, but also ethical and aligned with our best intentions.
Okay, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to something you said earlier
Okay.
about AI being a reflection of ourselves.
Right.
It's easy to think of AI as this separate alien entity,
Yeah,
but isn't it ultimately a product of human intelligence and creativity?
absolutely. That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
AI is not some external force that's descended upon us.
Right.
It's a creation of our own minds.
Yeah.
A testament to our ingenuity and our ability to create tools that extend our own capabilities.
So it's a mirror reflecting back our own intelligence, but also our biases, our aspirations, our fears.
Exactly. AI is a powerful lens through which we can examine ourselves,
Yeah.
both our strengths and our weaknesses. It forces us to confront those fundamental questions about what it means to be human.
Yeah, what values we hold dear, what kind of future we want to create.
Absolutely.
It's almost like AI is forcing us to redefine what it means to be human,
I think so.
to look inward and figure out what truly sets us apart.
I think it's an incredible opportunity for introspection.
Yeah.
AI is making us reevaluate our values, our strengths, our place in the grand scheme of things.
It's definitely a mind-expanding experience.
It is.
You know, this whole conversation reminds me of something Carl Sagan once said.
Okay.
we are a way for the cosmos to know itself.
Oh, I love that quote.
It's like AI is another step in that journey of self-discovery.
That's a beautiful way to put it. AI is not just a technological revolution. It's a catalyst for human evolution.
Wow.
It's an invitation to step into our full potential as creators, innovators, and ethical beings.
Okay, before we move on to the final part of our AI journey,
Okay.
let's address something that I think often gets overlooked.
All right.
This very human fear of losing control to our own creations.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's a theme that pops up in countless sci-fi movies,
Right.
and I think it resonates deeply with a lot of people.
It's a primal fear rooted in our awareness of our own vulnerability.
Yeah.
Throughout history, we've created tools that have amplified our power, from fire to the wheel to nuclear weapons.
Right?
And with each new technological leap, there's a corresponding fear that these tools might turn against us.
Yeah, that we might lose control.
Exactly.
So is this fear rational, or is it just paranoia fueled by too many dystopian novels?
I think it's important to acknowledge and respect that fear.
Okay.
It's a reminder of our responsibility as creators, a call to proceed with caution and wisdom.
Yeah.
But fear alone shouldn't paralyze us.
All right.
It's about finding that balance between acknowledging the risks and embracing the potential benefits.
So a healthy dose of caution, but also a sense of wonder and excitement.
I think that's a good way to put it.
But how do we actually prevent AI from becoming a threat?
Right.
I mean, some of these systems are already incredibly complex and powerful.
It's a multifaceted challenge, and there's no single solution.
Okay.
But one crucial element is transparency.
Okay.
We need to understand how these systems work, what data they're using, how they're making decisions.
Right. But some people would argue that some level of AI magic is okay.
Yeah,
That we don't need to know how everything works as long as it benefits us.
right.
Like, I don't need to know how Netflix suggests movies as long as it's recommending stuff that I actually want to watch.
That's a valid point. But when it comes to those high-stakes decisions,
Right.
like medical diagnoses or loan approvals,
Yeah.
transparency becomes paramount.
Okay.
We need to be able to scrutinize those decisions, understand the reasoning behind them, and ensure that they're fair and unbiased.
Okay. I get it. Transparency is crucial when the stakes are high.
It is.
But what about those systems that are intentionally designed to manipulate us?
Right.
I'm talking about biased algorithms shaping our online experiences, those sneaky personalized ads that seem to follow us everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Even those hyper-realistic deepfakes that blur the lines between truth and fiction.
Those are all legitimate concerns, and AI systems, particularly those driven by deep learning, can be incredibly effective at learning our preferences, predicting our behavior, and even tailoring information to influence our decisions.
It's like those personalized ads that seem to know what we want before we even know it ourselves.
Right.
It's both impressive and a bit creepy.
Yeah, the challenge is that this technology can be used for good or for evil.
Right.
On the one hand, personalized recommendations can help us discover new products and information that we might find valuable. But on the other hand, it can be used to manipulate us, to reinforce our existing biases, and to create those filter bubbles that limit our exposure to diverse perspectives.
So it's another one of those double-edged sword situations.
It is.
How do we ensure that AI is used to empower us rather than to exploit us?
Well, it's a combination of individual awareness and collective action.
Okay.
We need to become more discerning consumers of information, questioning the sources, and being aware of the potential for AI to shape our perceptions.
We need to develop our own AI literacy,
Exactly.
being able to spot those attempts at manipulation.
That's a great way to put it. We also need to hold developers and companies accountable for how they use AI.
Right.
Demand transparency about data collection practices.
Okay.
Advocate for regulations that protect consumer privacy, and push for those ethical design principles that prioritize human well-being.
So it's like we need a digital bill of rights for the age of AI.
I love that idea.
A set of principles that ensures that this technology is used for good, not for harm.
A digital bill of rights that enshrines our right to privacy, transparency, and autonomy in the face of increasingly powerful AI systems.
That's something we should all be advocating for.
I agree.
Okay, so individual awareness and collective action are key.
They are.
But what about those really big, scary AI systems?
Right.
The ones that are potentially more powerful than anything we've ever created.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk lately about pausing the development of AI systems more powerful than GPT-4.
Yeah, it's a hot topic.
Is that a good idea, or is it just delaying the inevitable?
It's a debate that's raging right now in the AI community,
Okay.
and it really reflects those very real anxieties that we're facing as we push the boundaries of intelligence.
So it's like we're on the verge of creating something truly remarkable, but also potentially dangerous.
Yeah, like that scene in Jurassic Park where they realize they've created something they can't control.
Exactly. Those who support a pause argue that we're entering uncharted territory,
Right,
creating systems with capabilities that we don't fully understand,
right.
whose consequences we can't predict.
Yeah, they worry about these systems being used for malicious purposes like spreading misinformation, developing autonomous weapons, or even taking control from humans altogether.
Yeah, I can see why people are worried, but what about those who oppose the pause?
Well, they argue that pausing development would stifle innovation
Okay.
and cede leadership in AI to other countries, potentially those with less regard for ethical considerations.
Right.
They also point out the potential benefits of advanced AI accelerating scientific discovery, developing new medical treatments, addressing climate change.
So it's a classic dilemma,
It is.
weighing the potential risks against the potential rewards.
Exactly, and there are no easy answers.
No, there aren't.
Right.
Where do you stand on this?
Well, I understand the concerns of those who call for a pause,
Right.
and I believe it's essential to proceed with caution and humility.
Yeah.
But I also believe that a blanket ban on all AI development beyond a certain point
Right.
would be impractical and potentially counterproductive.
So what's the alternative?
Well, instead of a pause, I believe we need to focus on responsible development,
Okay.
which means investing heavily in AI safety research,
Oh, yeah.
establishing ethical guidelines,
Uh-huh.
developing regulations that keep pace with technological advancements,
Right.
and fostering international collaboration
Okay.
to ensure that AI development is guided by those shared values and principles.
So it's about managing the risks while still allowing for progress.
Precisely. We need to proceed with caution and humility, but we shouldn't let fear paralyze us.
Right.
We have an incredible opportunity to harness the power of AI for good,
Yeah.
but it's up to us to make sure that happens.
Okay, I'm feeling a little more optimistic now, but we've been talking a lot about the potential negative impacts of AI.
Yeah.
Let's flip the script for a moment and talk about the potential positive impacts.
Right.
I mean, AI has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives, right?
Absolutely. We've already touched on some of the potential benefits in healthcare
Right.
and education,
Right.
but it goes far beyond that.
Okay.
AI has the potential to transform transportation, energy, agriculture, manufacturing, even the arts and entertainment.
Okay. Paint me a picture of this AI-powered utopia.
Well, imagine a world where traffic accidents are virtually eliminated because of self-driving cars.
Okay.
Imagine cities powered by renewable energy sources, managed by intelligent grids that optimize efficiency and minimize waste.
Okay.
Imagine personalized education systems that cater to each student's unique learning style and pace.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine AI-powered tools that help artists create stunning new works of art
Yeah.
and musicians compose breathtaking symphonies.
Wow, it sounds pretty amazing, but what about the potential downside?
Right.
What about the risks of job displacement, social inequality, and the concentration of power in the hands of just a few tech giants?
Those are all valid concerns,
Right.
and we need to address them head on.
Yeah.
But I believe that we can create a future where AI is used to benefit everyone, not just a privileged few. It's about making sure that the development and deployment of AI are guided by those ethical principles, human values, and a commitment to social justice.
So it's about making sure that AI is used to create a more equitable and sustainable world,
That's the goal.
not just a more efficient and profitable one.
Exactly. It's about harnessing the power of AI to solve our biggest challenges,
Yeah.
not just to make life more convenient or to generate more wealth for a select few.
Okay, I'm buying what you're selling,
Great.
but let's be realistic. There are a lot of challenges ahead,
Yeah.
and the future of AI is far from certain.
That's true. But I believe that if we approach AI with a sense of responsibility,
Yeah.
a commitment to ethical principles, and a willingness to collaborate, we can create a future where AI empowers humanity,
Yeah.
not enslaves it.
That's a powerful message to end on.
Thank you.
Now, before we jump into the final part of our AI journey,
Okay.
where we explore those philosophical and existential questions raised by AI,
Right.
let's take a moment to consider one more potential impact.
All right.
The impact on our very understanding of what it means to be human.
Ah, yes, the age-old question.
What separates us from the machines?
Exactly.
As AI systems become more capable of performing tasks that were once considered uniquely human,
Right.
from writing poetry to composing music,
Yeah.
It challenges our traditional notions of human exceptionalism.
It's like AI is holding up a mirror to us,
Yeah.
forcing us to ask, what is it about us that's truly special? What are the qualities and values that we cherish most about our humanity?
It's a profound question,
It is.
and it's one that we'll explore in more depth in our final segment.
Okay.
But before we get too philosophical, let's address one more practical concern that's been making headlines.
Okay.
This potential for AI to manipulate or deceive us.
Right.
We've touched on this already,
We have.
but I think it deserves a closer look.
I agree. It's a concern that's becoming increasingly relevant as AI systems become more sophisticated
Yeah.
and integrated into our lives.
We're talking about everything from biased algorithms shaping our online experiences
Yeah.
to sophisticated AI systems capable of creating those hyper-realistic deepfakes that blur the lines between truth and fiction.
Right. It's like we're entering a world where we can't even trust our own eyes and ears.
Yeah, it's a little unsettling.
It can be AI systems, especially those powered by deep learning, can be incredibly effective at manipulating information
Okay.
and tailoring it to exploit our cognitive biases.
So it's like those personalized ads on steroids.
It's one way to put it.
The challenge is that these systems can be used for both beneficial and harmful purposes.
That's right.
On the one hand, they can help us discover new information,
Right.
make better decisions.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they can be used to manipulate us, reinforce our existing biases, and to undermine our trust in information.
It's true.
So how do we navigate this ethical minefield? How do we ensure that AI is used to empower us, not to deceive us?
Well, transparency is crucial. We need to understand how these systems work, what data they're using, how they're making decisions.
Right.
This requires not only technical literacy, but also a critical awareness of the potential for AI to be used for those persuasive purposes.
So it's about becoming more savvy consumers of information,
Exactly.
questioning the sources, being aware of the potential for AI to shape our perceptions.
That's a great way to put it.
We also need to hold developers and companies accountable for how they use AI,
They do.
right? Demanding transparency about data collection practices,
Yes.
pushing for regulations that protect consumer privacy,
Uh-huh.
and advocating for those ethical design principles
Right.
that prioritize human well-being.
I agree.
So it's a collective effort
It is.
that requires vigilance, critical thinking, and a willingness to push back against those unethical uses of AI.
Absolutely. The future of AI is not just about technological advancement.
Right.
It's about shaping those values and principles that guide its development and deployment.
Yeah.
It's a conversation we need to have as a society, ensuring that AI serves humanity
Right.
rather than the other way around.
Okay, now let's dive into a specific example of this control dilemma that's been grabbing headlines lately. The call from some experts to pause the development of AI systems more potent than GPT-4.
Ah, yes. A very controversial topic.
It is, with some arguing that such a pause is necessary to prevent catastrophic risks,
Right.
while others see it as an unnecessary hindrance to progress.
Yeah. A real debate.
It is a debate, and it reflects those profound anxieties and uncertainties surrounding the rapid advancement of AI.
Those who advocate for a pause argue that we're entering uncharted territory.
Oh.
Creating systems with capabilities that we don't fully understand
Right.
and whose consequences we can't predict.
Yeah.
They point to the potential for these systems to be used for malicious purposes.
Right, like spreading misinformation.
Exactly, developing autonomous weapons that could escape human control.
So like the classic sci-fi scenario of creating a monster that we can't control.
That's the fear that drives this call for a pause.
Okay, on the other side of the argument, those who oppose a pause argue that it would stifle innovation
Yes.
and cede leadership in the field of AI to other countries, potentially those with less regard for ethical considerations.
Right.
They also point out the potential benefits of advanced AI.
Okay. Accelerating scientific discovery, developing new medical treatments, addressing climate change.
So again, we're weighing those potential risks against the potential rewards.
Exactly, with no easy answers.
No easy answers. Where do you stand on this debate?
Well, it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Of course.
But I understand the concerns of those who call for a pause.
Yeah.
And I believe it's essential to proceed with caution and humility.
Okay.
But I also believe that a blanket pause on all AI development beyond a certain threshold
Yeah.
would be impractical and potentially counterproductive.
So what's the alternative?
Instead of a pause, I believe we need to focus on a more nuanced approach
Okay.
that balances caution with progress.
All right.
This includes investing heavily in AI safety research, Developing ethical guidelines and regulations that keep pace with technological advancements,
Right.
and fostering international collaboration to ensure that AI development is guided by those shared values and principles.
So finding that delicate balance between
Rah.
pushing the boundaries of innovation
Yes.
while ensuring that we don't create something that we can't control
Right.
or that poses an existential threat to humanity.
Exactly. It's about navigating this uncharted territory with wisdom, foresight, and a deep commitment to those ethical principles.
Now let's zoom out a bit and consider the wider societal implications of this race towards ever more powerful AI.
Okay.
We've touched on job displacement,
Yeah.
the potential for manipulation and control,
Right.
but what other potential impacts should we be thinking about?
AI has the potential to fundamentally reshape our world in ways that we can only begin to imagine.
Okay.
It's not just about automating tasks or making our lives more efficient.
Right.
It's about transforming our relationship with technology, with information, even with ourselves.
That sounds both exciting and a bit daunting. Can you give us? Give us some concrete examples of these potential societal shifts.
But one area where AI is already having a profound impact is education.
Okay.
Imagine personalized learning systems that adapt to each student's individual needs and learning style.
Yeah.
Providing customized instruction and feedback, imagine AI-powered tutors that are available 24/7,
Whoa.
offering support and guidance whenever a student needs it.
It sounds like the dream of individualized education could finally become a reality.
It's definitely a possibility that's within reach,
It is.
but there are challenges to consider.
Like what?
How do we ensure that these systems are equitable and accessible to all students, regardless of their background or socioeconomic status?
Right.
And how do we balance the role of AI in education with the importance of human interaction and mentorship?
So finding the right balance between technology and human connection.
Exactly.
Making sure that AI enhances education rather than replacing the essential role of teachers and mentors.
That's the key. Another area where AI is poised to have a transformative impact is healthcare.
Okay.
Imagine AI-powered diagnostic tools that can analyze medical images with superhuman accuracy.
Okay.
Detecting diseases at their earliest stages, imagine AI-driven drug discovery platforms
Right.
that can rapidly identify promising new treatments for diseases that have long plagued humanity.
It sounds like AI could revolutionize healthcare, leading to longer, healthier lives.
The potential is immense, but again, there are ethical considerations to grapple with.
Right, like what?
How do we ensure that these AI-powered healthcare tools are accessible and affordable to all?
Right.
And how do we balance the benefits of AI-driven diagnosis and treatment with the importance of patient autonomy and informed consent?
So making sure that AI in healthcare is used to empower both patients and healthcare providers,
Absolutely.
rather than creating a system where machines are dictating medical decisions.
That's right. AI should be a tool that enhances human expertise and compassion,
Right.
not a replacement for it.
These are just a few examples of the profound societal shifts that AI is likely to bring about.
Right.
It's both exciting and a bit overwhelming to contemplate all the possibility.
It's a future that's full of both promise and uncertainty.
Yeah.
But one thing is clear, AI is here to stay.
Right.
And it's up to us to shape its development and deployment in ways that benefit humanity.
Okay, so we've covered the practical applications of AI, the ethical dilemmas, the potential risks, and the incredible societal transformations that it could bring.
It's a lot.
It is. But now get ready to put on your thinking caps.
Okay.
Because we're diving into the deep end,
Right.
the philosophical and existential questions raised by AI.
This is where AI gets really mind-bending.
It does.
It forces us to grapple with questions that humanity has pondered for centuries.
Yeah.
What is consciousness?
Right.
What is our purpose? What does it even mean to be human?
It seems like AI is blurring the lines between human and machine, making those questions even more urgent.
It really...
Yeah. One of the biggest head scratchers for me is the question of consciousness.
Right.
Can machines truly become conscious?
Right.
Can they experience the world like we do with all its emotions and subjective feelings?
That's the million-dollar question, and even the experts disagree.
Of course.
Some believe that consciousness is an emergent property of complex systems.
Or,
So as AI gets more sophisticated,
yeah.
it could eventually develop some form of consciousness.
So it's like consciousness is the next step on the evolutionary ladder.
Yeah.
And AI might be about to take that step.
That's one school of thought.
Oh.
Others argue that consciousness is fundamentally different from intelligence,
Okay.
that it's something uniquely human, something that can't be replicated in silicon.
That's where I get tripped up. If a machine can write a poem that moves me to tears, or compose a symphony that gives me chills, isn't that a form of consciousness?
It certainly blurs the lines.
It does.
And that leads to another big question.
Okay.
Purpose. If machines can think, feel, and even surpass human intelligence,
Right?
what's their purpose?
Yeah.
And what are our obligations to these intelligent beings that we've created?
It's like we're stepping into a whole new realm of ethical considerations.
We are.
It's not just about how we treat each other anymore.
Right.
It's about how we treat these intelligent machines. It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is, and it makes us question our own purpose.
Right.
You know, if machines can do everything we can do, maybe even better.
Yeah.
What's that unique value of being human? What's our role in a world where AI is increasingly capable?
It's almost like AI is forcing us to redefine what it means to be human,
I think so.
to look inward and figure out what truly sets us apart.
I think it's an incredible opportunity for introspection.
Yeah.
You know, AI is making us reevaluate our values, our strengths, our place in the grand scheme of things.
It's definitely a mind-expanding experience.
It is.
You know, this whole conversation reminds me of something that Carl Sagan once said. He said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself."
Oh, I love that quote.
And it's like AI is another step in that journey of self-discovery.
It's a beautiful thought. AI isn't just a tool.
Right.
It's a reflection of our own intelligence, our creativity, and our desire to understand the universe and our place in it.
We've covered so much ground today, from the practical applications of AI to the ethical challenges, the potential risks, the societal transformations, and now these mind-blowing philosophical questions.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has, and we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
The field of AI is evolving so rapidly.
It is.
And the questions it raises are becoming ever more complex and, frankly, a little bit scary.
I agree.
It's both exciting and a bit overwhelming, but it's a conversation we need to have.
We do.
AI is not just some futuristic fantasy. It's shaping our world right now.
It is. And on that note, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
AI is a powerful tool,
It is.
but it's up to us to decide how we use it. We can choose to let it define us. Or we can choose to define it. We can choose to fear it.
Yeah.
Or we can choose to embrace its potential to create a better future.
So well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you've learned something new, challenged your assumptions, and maybe even had a few aha moments. And remember, the future of AI is not predetermined. It's a story that we're writing together, so let's make it a good one.